Witam Was. Słuchajcie. Witam Was, słuchajcie, dzisiaj lecimy z kolejnym streamem tym razem. Możecie sobie zobaczyć, czekajcie. Dokładnie. Dokładnie lecimy dzisiaj, czekajcie. No, dokładnie. Skarżyliście się na to, że jest słabej jakości. Więc dlatego my robimy dzisiaj coś takiego, że jakby... Czekajcie, w końcu nie... nie wykorzystujemy dzisiaj AI, dzisiaj będziemy omawiać Fight Club. Że słabej jakości było te nagrania, więc dlatego nie popełnimy tego samego błędu, po prostu będziemy zapierdzielać dokładnie. Dokładnie w taki sposób będziemy zapierdzielać, Panie. Matko. Jezus, trzeba mieć naprawdę... O kurde, dzisiaj w ogóle słuchamy audiobook właściwie z Fight Clubu, ale wcześniej Wam omówimy, z czym to się je dokładnie. Czekajcie, daję GTA 6 cooked. Dobra. 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 Fight Club, let's go. Ale dobra, będziemy sobie omawiać. Nie kupiłem książki, żeby nie było, ale zdobyłem audiobooka. Dokładnie. I tego audiobooka będziemy słuchać sobie dzisiaj. 5-godzinnego. Pixie i będziemy sobie słuchać Pixie przede wszystkim, bo to jest jakby no dobry początek. Dokładnie tak będziemy robić dzisiaj, bo jakby to jest powalone w ogóle, coś jest nie pchamy. O, czekajcie. Sobie. My dzisiaj z tego powodu audiobook trwa 5 godzin. Jeszcze sobie sprawdzę ile w ogóle. Ja sobie sprawdziłem research na temat tej oto pięknej książki ogółem, z którą się ma. Dokładnie. Już wam mówię. Dobra, wysyłamy na Facebook. Nie audiobooka. Jeżeli będzie złej jakości, to bardzo Was przepraszam, ale no niestety napada słaby internet, jak jestem ze wsi człowiekiem. Ja jestem z bardzo małej wsi właściwie, więc dlatego tak jakby jest takie, jak widzicie taką słą jakość na przykład, no to nic na to nie poradzę po prostu, dlatego tak to wygląda właśnie. Słuchanie audiobooka, dobra, słuchajcie, zapraszam wszystkich już. Audiobooka, nie dam rady, niestety nie dasz rady. Na pizdę nie dasz rady. Nie dasz rady. Proszę bardzo, zapraszam ludzi. Dobra. Dobrze, dobrze. Dobra. Wszędzie już powysuwałem zaproszenia. Dobra, lecimy. Do karty też wysyłamy. Here we go. Dobra. Hello! Słuchajcie, tu brat Pitt z Poznania. Czyli Cypeks. Dobra, idziemy. Dobra, więc tak. Zacznijmy od tego. Ile minęło? 5 minut. Słuchajcie, dzisiaj sprawdzę jeszcze ile mamy tego. Ile jeszcze mamy... czekajcie, English. Bo jestem... No taki jaki jestem, ale... Dobra. ...208 stron dzisiaj będziemy czytać. To jest taka... Ta książka jest taką... w ogóle to, co dzisiaj będziemy... Gdzie kask, wariacie? Dzisiaj bez kasku, bo dzisiaj jakby omawiamy nieco co innego, więc dlatego jakby tak to wygląda. Ogólnie dzisiaj, o ile poprzednim razem to byliśmy non-fiction, mieliśmy nowelkę, którą czytaliśmy, to dzisiaj nie będziemy czytać, będziemy słuchać, omawiać audiobooka o tytule Fight Club, czyli postmodernistyczną satyrę napisaną przez Chucka Palahniuka. Już wam opowiadam, jak to się stanęło w ogóle, że ten gościu napisał w ogóle tę książkę. Gość napisał to poprzez coś takiego, kiedy aplikacja do pisania z ludźmi Tinder. Nie mam Tindera niestety, ale mam Fortnite'a w końcu, więc jak mam Fortnite'a, więc jak ktoś by chciał, to możemy i lecimy. Ale dobra, wracając. Dawno, gówno, był sobie Chuck Palahniuk. I ten Chuck Palahniuk chodził do klubów. I pewnej nocy poszedł do klubu, bo on sobie tam chciał zasnąć chwilę i dostał załatwioną sprawę kulturalnie, czyli dostał wpierdol. Taki porządny, że normalnie rany miał. I on normalnie, co on tam jeszcze robił? Miał takie rany, że on poszedł do pracy i nikt nie zwracał uwagi na jego rany. Wszyscy to olali i na podstawie tego sobie napisał książkę. Czyli taką Fight Club będącą satyrą postmodernistyczną. Dokładnie, i tego będziemy słuchać. W ogóle sobie dopuścimy muzykę tak jak zawsze. Here we go. Zapuścimy sobie, już wam mówię. Pixies, dokładnie. Tego nie mogło zabraknąć właśnie. Dobra. To sądzisz o likach do GTA 3? Widziałem te liki do GTA 3 ogółem. Muszę wam powiedzieć, liki do GTA 3 zawierały m.in. Nawiązania do World Trade Center. Dokładnie. World Trade Center, wytycy, dokładnie były te pliki, bo ja je widziałem. I nawet widać, że to działo się w Nowym Jorku, bo właściwie tam jest nawet policja nowojorska. Osama Bin Laden miał być głównym złym. Na podstawie tego miał się to stworzyć. Dokładnie. I to, co dzisiaj będziemy omawiać, to jest coś bardzo podobnego. Dokładnie jeszcze ile mamy? 10. Możemy już powoli zaczynać, więc dlatego już tu Pixies sobie leci w tle. Dlatego lecimy. Coś mam jeszcze do opowiedzenia? Chyba nie. Let's go. Fight Club. Dokładnie. W ogóle jak nie będzie dobrej jakości, to polecam mieć to w dupie, kurwa. Ponieważ dzisiaj co będziemy omawiać, Co tam jest? Smacznego, wariacik. Jem sobie nóżki z kurczaka. W ogóle muszę wam powiedzieć przerażający fakt, jeżeli chodzi o nie wiem, o kurczaki. Nie wiem, czy znacie azjatyckie szerszenie. Azjatyckie szerszenie, ja widziałem to w ogóle żywo jakieś parę dni temu, jak byłem w Chorwacji. Szerszenie azjatyckie potrafią wpierdalać ludzkie mięso. Przepraszam, nie ludzkie, tylko kurczak. Serce kurczaka. Ja to normalnie widziałem. Serce kurczaka normalnie było wpierdalane przez nie. Jest nawet, czekajcie, ja to nawet widziałem, kurwa. Jest nawet nagranie, już wam pokazuję. Giant Hornet Eating Heart. Już wam to pokażę. Jest nawet, dobra. Już wam to pokazuję, słuchajcie. Ogólnie kontorzy, że symbionty kradną kurczaki. No to zaraz zobaczycie symbionta właśnie. Już ci to pokazuję właśnie. Proszę bardzo. Pierdolę. Proszę bardzo. Normalnie ja to obejrzałem i ja mówię, to jest jeden z najbardziej przerażających widoków, jakie w życiu widziałem. Zobaczcie, to jest serce kurczaka. Swoją drogą. Patrzcie, co będę robić. No, dosłownie. To jest, nie wiem, tak, no, ludzkie serce. No na pewno ludzkie serce, nie wiem, Trykiewicza na pewno byś dał. Dokładnie. Dobra, lecimy, Fight Club. Dokładnie, lecimy z Fight Clubem. Here we go.
Fight Club, a novel by Chuck Palahniuk, read by J. Todd Adams. Tyler gets me a job as a waiter. After that, Tyler's pushing a gun in my mouth and saying, the first step to eternal life is you have to die. For a long time, though, Tyler and I were best friends. People are always asking, did I know about Tyler Durden? The barrel of the gun pressed against the back of my throat, Tyler says, we really won't die. With my tongue, I can feel the silencer holes we drilled into the barrel of the gun. Most of the noise a gunshot makes is expanding gases, and there's the tiny sonic boom a bullet makes because it travels so fast. To make a silencer, you just drill holes in the barrel of the gun, a lot of holes. This lets the gas escape and slows the bullet to below the speed of sound. You drill the holes wrong and the gun will blow off your hand. This isn't really death, Tyler says. We'll be legend. We won't grow old. I tongue the barrel into my cheek and say, Tyler, you're thinking of vampires. The building we're standing on won't be here in 10 minutes. You take a 98% concentration of fuming nitric acid and add the acid to 3 times that amount of sulfuric acid, do this in an ice bath. Then you add glycerin drop by drop with an eyedropper, you have nitroglycerin.
Muzyka jest bardzo słaba, więc
I know this
ja
because Tyler
normalnie
knows
dodał
this.
Pixies.
Mix the nitro with sawdust and you have a nice plastic explosive.
Żeby to leciało w tle
A
ogółem.
lot of folks mix their nitro with cotton and add Epsom salts as a sulfate. This works too.
Bo
Some
to
folks,
leciało w
they
tle
use
w ogóle, to jest
paraffin mixed
takie
with nitro.
gówno w ogóle, że to jest
Paraffin has
chyba-
never ever worked for
To
me.
jest nieporozumienie.
So, Tyler and I are on top of the Parker Morris building with a gun stuck in my mouth, and we hear glass breaking. Look over the edge. It's a cloudy day, even this high up. This is the world's tallest building, and this high up, the wind is always cold. It's so quiet this high up. The feeling you get is that you're one of those space monkeys. You do the little job you're trained to do. Pull a lever, push a button. You don't understand any of it.
Słuchajcie, mam
and
pytanie
then
do
you
was.
just die.
Zapuścić muzykę, w sensie to Pixies?
191 floors up,
leciał w
you
tle?
look over the edge of the roof, and the street below is mottled with a shag carpet of people, standing, looking up. The breaking glass is a window right below us.
Jo, dawaj.
A window blows out the side of the building, and then comes a file cabinet big as a black refrigerator right below us. A 6-drawer filing cabinet drops right out of the cliff face of the building and drops, turning slowly, and drops, getting smaller, and drops, disappearing into the packed crowd. Somewhere in the 191 floors
No i
under
tak,
us,
bo
the
to się
space
bawisz
monkeys
teraz.
and the mischief committee of Project Mayhem are running wild. destroying every scrap of history.
Czekajcie na pełnej.
That old saying, how you always kill the one you love? Well, look, it works both ways. With a gun stuck in your mouth and the barrel of the gun between your teeth, you can only talk in vowels. Down to our
No i
last
tak
10
to można
minutes.
słuchać właśnie teraz.
Another window blows out of the building and glass sprays out, sparkling flock of pigeons style, and then a dark wooden desk pushed by the mischief committee emerges inch by inch from the side of the building until the desk tilts and slides and turns end over end into a magic flying thing lost in the crowd. The Parker Morris building won't be here in 9 minutes. You take enough blasting gelatin and wrap the foundation columns of anything, you can topple any building in the world.
Dobra.
You have to tamp it good and tight with sandbags so the blast goes against the column and not out into the parking garage around the column. This how-to stuff isn't in any history book. The 3 ways to make napalm. 1, you can mix equal parts of gasoline and frozen orange juice concentrate. 2, you can mix equal parts of gasoline and Diet Cola.
No, dobra.
3, you can dissolve crumbled cat litter in gasoline until the mixture is thick. Ask me how to make nerve gas. All those crazy car bombs. 9 minutes. The Parker Morris building will go over, all 191 floors, slow as a tree falling in the forest. You can topple anything. It's weird to think the place where we're standing will only be a point in the sky. Tyler and me at the edge of the roof, the gun in my mouth. I'm wondering how clean this gun is. We just totally forget about Tyler's whole murder-suicide thing while we watch another file cabinet slip out the side of the building and the drawers roll open mid-air, reams of white paper caught in the updraft and carried off on the wind. 8 minutes. Then the smoke. Smoke starts out of the broken windows. The demolition team will hit the primary charge in maybe 8 minutes. The primary charge will blow the base charge, the foundation columns will crumble, and the photo series of the Parker Morris building will go into all the history books. The 5-picture time-lapse series. Here, the building's standing. Second picture, the building will be at an 80-degree angle, then a 70-degree angle. The building's at a 45-degree angle in the 4th picture when the skeleton starts to give and the tower gets a slight arch to it. The last shot, the tower, all 191 floors will slam down on the National Museum, which is Tyler's real target. This is our world now, our world, Tyler says, and those ancient people are dead. If I knew how this would all turn out, I'd be more than happy to be dead and in heaven right now. 7 minutes. Up on top of the Parker Morris building with Tyler's gun in my mouth, while desks and filing cabinets and computers meteor down on the crowd around the building and smoke funnels up from the broken windows, and 3 blocks down the street the demolition team watches the clock. I know all of this. The gun, the anarchy, the explosion is really about Marla Singer. 6 minutes. We have sort of a triangle thing going here. I want Tyler, Tyler wants Marla, Marla wants me. I don't want Marla, and Tyler doesn't want me around. Not anymore. This isn't about love as in caring. This is about property as in ownership. Without Marla, Tyler would have nothing. 5 minutes. Maybe we would become a legend, maybe not. No, I say, but wait. Where would Jesus be if no one had written the Gospels? 4 minutes. I tongue the gun barrel into my cheek and say, you want to be a legend, Tyler, man? I'll make you a legend. I've been here from the beginning. I remember everything. 3 minutes. Bob's big arms were closed around to hold me inside, and I was squeezed in the dark between Bob's new sweating tits that hang enormous, the way we think of gods as big. Going around the church basement full of men, each night we met. This is Art, this is Paul, this is Bob. Bob's big shoulders made me think of the horizon. Bob's thick blonde hair was what you get when hair cream calls itself sculpting mousse. So thick and blonde, and the part is so straight. His arms wrapped around me. Bob's hand palms my head against the new tits sprouted on his barrel chest. It'll be all right, Bob said. You cry now. From my knees to my forehead, I feel chemical
Bawiłem się naprawdę
reactions within
zajebiście
Bob,
długo,
burning
czytałem.
food and oxygen.
Mimo, że było naprawdę ciężko.
Maybe they got it all early enough, Bob
No
says.
tutaj jest dużo lżej,
Maybe it's just
bo
seminoma.
Fight Club ogólnie
With
jest nazywanie
seminoma, you have
najgorszego
almost
skutku, nie?
100% survival
On
rate.
jest... Ja teraz
Bob's
w ogóle tej
shoulders inhale
ciężkości
themselves
nie
up
czuję
in a
w ogóle.
long draw, then drop, drop, drop in jerking sobs. Draw themselves up, drop, drop, drop. I've been coming here every week for 2 years, and every week Bob wraps his arms around me and I cry. You cry, Bob says, and inhales and sobs, sobs, sobs. Go on now and cry. The big wet face settles down on the top of my head, and I am lost inside. This is when I'd cry.
Dobra, musiałem.
Crying is right at hand in the smothering dark, closed inside someone else, when you see how everything you can ever accomplish will end up
Jest dużo
as
lepiej
trash.
natomiast. To jest
Anything
dużo
you're
lepiej.
ever proud of will be thrown away,
Bo w nocy to jak
and I'm
nasłałem
lost
normalnie,
inside. This is as close
Znaczy,
as I've been
normalnie
to sleeping in almost a week.
czułem jakbym
This
umierał
is how I
dosłownie.
met Marla Singer. Bob cries because 6 months ago his testicles were removed. Then hormone support therapy. Bob has tits because his testosterone ration is too high. Raise the testosterone level too much, your body ups the estrogen to seek a balance.
Albo Brad Pitt.
This is when I'd cry because right
Byłby dużo
now,
lepszy
your
niż
life
to,
comes
co
down to
dostajemy.
nothing. Not even nothing. Oblivion. Too much estrogen and you get bitch tits.
Bitch
It's
ty.
easy to cry when you realize that everyone you love will reject you or die. On a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone will drop to 0. Bob loves me because he thinks my testicles were removed too. Around us in the Trinity Episcopal basement with the thrift store plaid sofas are maybe 20 men and only one woman. All of them clung together in pairs, most of them crying. Some pairs lean forward, heads pressed ear to ear the way wrestlers stand, locked. The man with the only woman plants his elbows on her shoulders, one elbow on either side of her head between his hands, and his face crying against her neck. The woman's face twists off to one side, and her hand brings up a cigarette. I peek out from under the armpit of Big Bob. All my life, Bob cries. Why I do anything, I don't know.
Widzę, że pizda jest.
The only woman here at Remaining Men Together, the testicular cancer support group, this woman smokes her cigarette under the burden of a stranger, and her eyes come together with mine. Faker. Faker. Faker.
Faker, kurwa.
Short, matte black hair, big eyes the way they are in Japanese animation, skim milk thin, buttermilk sallow in her dress with a wallpaper pattern of dark roses.
Nie.
This woman was also in my tuberculosis support group Friday night. She was in my melanoma round table Wednesday night. Monday night, she was in my firm believers leukemia rap group. The part down the center of her hair is a crooked lightning bolt of white scalp. When you look for these support groups, they all have vague, upbeat names. My Thursday evening group for blood parasites, it's called Free and Clear. The group I go to for brain parasites is called Above and Beyond. And Sunday afternoon at Remaining Men Together in the basement of Trinity Episcopal, this woman is here.
Nie,
Again.
nie wierzę w to.
Worse than that, I can't cry with her watching. This should be my
Can't cry,
favorite part. Being held and crying with Big Bob without hope.
No to
We all work so hard all the time. This is the only place I ever really relax and give up. This is my
Mi się
vacation.
wydaje, że ten gościu to jest taki Eric Cartman.
I went to my
Eric
first
Cartman
support
był
group 2
tam
years
frajerem.
ago, after I'd gone to my doctor about my insomnia again. 3 weeks and I hadn't slept. 3 weeks without sleep and everything becomes an out-of-body experience. My doctor said, insomnia is just a symptom of something larger. Find out what's actually wrong. Listen to your body. I just wanted to sleep. I wanted little blue amytal sodium capsules, 200 milligram sized. I wanted red and blue Tuinol bullet capsules, lipstick red Secanols. My doctor told me to chew valerian root and get more exercise. Eventually, I'd fall asleep. The bruised old fruit way my face had collapsed, you would have thought I was dead. My doctor said if I wanted to see real pain, I should swing by First Eucharist on a Tuesday night. See the brain parasites. See the degenerative bone diseases, the organic brain dysfunctions. See the cancer patients getting by. So I went. The first group I went to, there were introductions. This is Alice, this is Brenda, this is Dover. Everyone smiles with that invisible gun to their head. I never give my real name at support groups. The little skeleton of a woman named Chloe with the seat of her pants hanging down, sad and empty. Chloe tells me the worst thing about her brain parasites was no one would have sex with her. Here she was, so close to death that her life insurance policy had paid off with $75,000, and all Chloe wanted was to get laid for the last time. Not intimacy, sex. What does a guy say? What can you say, I mean? All this dying had started with Chloe being a little tired, and now Chloe was too bored to go in for treatment. Pornographic movies, she had pornographic movies at home in her apartment. During the French Revolution, Chloe told me, the women in prison, the duchesses, baronesses, marquises, whatever, they would screw any man who'd climb on top. Chloe breathed against my neck. Climb on top. Pony up, did I know. Screwing past the time. La petite mort, the French called it. Chloe had pornographic movies, if I was interested. Amyl nitrate. Lubricants. Normal times, I'd be sporting an erection. Our Chloe, however, is a skeleton dipped in yellow wax. Chloe looking the way she is, I am nothing. Not even nothing. Still, Chloe's shoulder pokes mine when we sit around a circle on the shag carpet. We close our eyes. This was Chloe's turn to lead us in guided meditation, and she talked us into the Garden of Serenity. Chloe talked us up the hill to the Palace of Seven Doors. Inside the palace were the 7 doors. The green door, the yellow door, the orange door, and Chloe talked us through opening each door. The blue door, the red door, the white door, and finding what was there. Eyes closed, we imagined our pain as a ball of white, healing light, floating around our feet and rising to our knees, our waist, our chest. Our chakras opening. The heart chakra, the head chakra. Chloe talked us into caves where we met our power animal. Mine was a penguin. Ice covered the floor of the cave, and the penguin said, "Slide." Without any effort, we slid through tunnels and galleries. Then it was time to hug. Open your eyes. This was therapeutic physical. His arms at his sides, his shoulders rounded, his big moosey chin on his chest, his eyes already shrink-wrapped in tears. Shuffling his feet, knees together in visible steps, Bob slid across the basement floor to heave himself on me. Bob pancaked down on me. Bob's big arms wrapped around me. Big Bob was a juicer, he said. All those salad days on Dianabol, and then the racehorse steroid Wistrol. His own gym. Big Bob owned a gym. He'd been married 3 times. He'd done product endorsements, and had I seen him on television ever? The whole how-to program about expanding your chest was practically his invention. Strangers with this kind of honesty make me go a big, rubbery one, if you know what I mean. Bob didn't know. Maybe only one of his huevos had ever descended, and he knew this was a risk factor. Bob told me about post-operative hormone therapy. A lot of bodybuilders shooting too much testosterone would get
Brad
what they called bitch tits. I had to ask what Bob meant by huevos. Huevos, Bob said. Gonads, nuts, jewels, testes, balls. In Mexico, where you buy your steroids, they call them eggs. Divorce, 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 Bob said, and showed me a wallowed photo of himself, huge and naked at first glance, in a posing strap at some contest. It's stupid.
Już jestem.
But when you're pumped and shaved on stage,
Tak, jest już
totally
trochę inaczej,
shredded
jest
with
trochę
body
inaczej.
fat,
Bongo jakby widzimy, że Tyler Durden jest nudystą, a Brad Pitt. I on go w taki sposób pierwszy raz poznaje właśnie. Coś, co nie pokazuje się w filmie. Czyli już mamy pierwszą ogromną różnicę, bo jeszcze początek to jest w miarę bardzo podobny, ale już później jest zupełnie inaczej. Jakby, powiedzmy tak, pierwsze dwie momenty, czyli właściwie jak on poznaje Helenę Bonham Carter, początek na dachu, który jest praktycznie końcówką, flashbacki z Bobem, terapia hormonalna, w której wszyscy są pizdy, więc wszystko ma sens.
down to around 2%, and the diuretics leave you cold and hard as concrete to touch. You're blind from the lights and deaf from the feedback rush of the sound system until the judge orders, extend your right quad, flex, and hold. Extend your left arm, flex the bicep, and hold. This is better than real life.
Co to kurwa jest?
Fast forward, Bob said, to the cancer. Then he was bankrupt. He had 2 grown kids who wouldn't return his calls. The cure for bitch tits was for the doctor to cut up under the pectorals and drain any fluid. This was all I remember, because when Bob was closing in around me with his arms and his head was folding down to cover me, then I was lost inside oblivion, dark and silent and complete.
Otóż widzę, że próbuję...
And when I finally stepped away from his soft chest, the front of Bob's shirt was a wet mask of how I looked crying. That was 2 years ago, at my first night with the remaining men together. At almost every meeting since then, Big Bob has made me cry. I never went back to the doctor. I never chewed the valerian root. This was freedom. Losing all hope was freedom. If I didn't say anything, people in a group assumed the worst. They cried harder. I cried harder. Look up into the stars and you're gone. Walking home after a support group, I felt more alive than I'd ever felt. I wasn't host to cancer or blood parasites. I was the little warm center that the life of the world crowded around. And I slept. Babies don't sleep this well. Every evening I died, and every evening I was born, resurrected. Until tonight. 2 years of success until tonight. Because I can't cry with this woman watching me. Because I can't hit bottom. I can't be saved. My tongue thinks it is flocked wallpaper. I'm biting the inside of my mouth so much. I haven't slept in 4 days. With her watching, I'm a liar. She's a fake. She's the liar. At the introductions tonight, we introduced ourselves. I'm Bob. I'm Paul. I'm Terry. I'm David. I never gave my real name. This is cancer, right? She said. Then she said, well, hi, I'm Marla Singer. Nobody ever told Marla what kind of cancer. Then we were all busy cradling our inner child. The man still crying against her neck, Marla takes another drag on her cigarette.
Dobra.
I watch her from between Bob's shuddering tits. To Marla, I'm a fake. Since the second night I saw her, I can't sleep. Still, I was the first fake. Unless maybe all these people are faking with their lesions and their coughs and tumors. Even Big Bob, the big moosey, the big cheese bread. But you just look at his sculpted hair. Marla smokes and rolls her eyes now.
No
In
siema,
this
siema
one
Janek.
moment, Marla's
Słuchaj.
lie reflects
Słuchamy
my
Fight
lie,
Clubu.
and all I can see.
Siema, siema Janek, słuchaj. Jak tam u ciebie ogółem? Ja już jestem w Poznaniu, więc no, więc jak chcesz, to możemy się opowiadaj, co tam u ciebie. Trzy tygodnie normalnie wybierz sobie. Więc w zdrojach, ale już jestem. A teraz będziemy słuchać sobie Fight Club, jak jest w oryginalnej książce. To jest, nie udało mi się zdobyć fizycznej formy książki, fizycznego wydania. Nie dlatego lecimy sobie z audiobookiem. I dlatego sobie słuchamy. Jest tak, w większości film oddaje bardzo mocno, bardzo dobrze książkę. I dowiedzieliśmy się jednocześnie, że Chuck Palahniuk ogółem w ogóle napisał tą książkę po tym, jak dostał w piernicz w barze, bo chciał zakłócić imprezę, więc dostał w piernicz i on miał takie rany normalnie, że przyszedł do pracy i nikt o to nie pytał jego. Więc on na podstawie tej zazdrości napisał sobie satyrę postmodernistyczną, którą nam tu ukazuje właśnie.
Are lies in the middle of all their truth.
I
Everyone clinging and risking to share their worst fear, that their death is coming head on and the barrel of a gun is pressed against the back of their throats.
W miarę okej, w sensie
Well,
jeśli chodzi o
Marla is smoking and rolling her eyes, and me, I'm buried under a sobbing carpet, and all of a sudden, even death and dying rank down there with plastic flowers on video as a non-event. Bob, I say, you're crushing me. I try to whisper, then I don't. Bob. I try to keep my voice down, then I'm yelling, Bob, I have to go to the can. A mirror hangs over the sink in the bathroom. If the pattern holds, I'll see Marla Singer at Above and Beyond, the parasitic brain dysfunction group. Marla will be there. Of course Marla will be there. And what I'll do is sit next to her, and after the introductions and the guided meditation, the 7 doors of the palace, the white healing ball of light, after we open our chakras, when it comes time to hug, I'll grab the little bitch. Her arms squeezed tight against her sides and my lips pressed against her ear, I'll say, Marla, get out. This is the one real thing in my life and you're wrecking it, you big tourist. The next time we meet, I'll say, Marla, I can't sleep with you here. I need this. Get out. You wake up at Air Harbor International. Every takeoff and landing, when the plane banked too much to one side, I prayed for a crash. That moment cures my insomnia with narcolepsy when we might die helpless in packed human tobacco in the fuselage. This is how I met Tyler Durden. You wake up at O'Hare. You wake up at LaGuardia. You wake up at Logan. Tyler worked part-time as a movie projectionist. Because of his nature, Tyler could only work night jobs. If a projectionist called in sick, the union called Tyler. Some people are night people, some people are day people. I could only work a day job. You wake up at Dulles. Life insurance pays off triple if you die on a business trip. I prayed for wind shear effect. I prayed for pelicans sucked into the turbines and loose bolts and ice on the wings. On takeoff, as the plane pushed down the runway and the flaps tilted up, with our seats in their full upright position and our tray tables stowed and all personal carry-on baggage in the overhead compartment, as the end of the runway ran up to meet us with our smoking materials extinguished, I prayed for a crash. You wake up at Love Field. In a projection booth, Tyler did changeovers if the theater was old enough. With changeovers, you have 2 projectors in the booth and 1 projector is running. I know this because Tyler knows this. The second projector is set up with the next reel of film. Most movies are 6 or 7 small reels of film played in a certain order. Newer theaters, they splice all the reels together into one 5-foot reel. This way, you don't have to run 2 projectors and do changeovers. Switch back and forth. Reel 1, switch. Reel 2 on the other projector, switch. Reel 3 on the first projector, switch. You wake up at SeaTac. I study the people on the laminated airline seat card. A woman floats in the ocean, her brown hair spread out behind her, her seat cushion clutched to her chest. The eyes are wide open, but the woman doesn't smile or frown. In another picture, people, calm as Hindu cows, reach up from their seats toward oxygen masks sprung out of the ceiling. This must be an emergency. Oh, we've lost cabin pressure. Oh. You wake up, and you're at Willow Run. Old theater, new theater. To ship a movie to the next theater, Tyler has to break the movie back down to the original 6 or 7 reels. The small reels pack into a pair of hexagonal steel suitcases. Each suitcase has a handle on top. Pick one up, and you'll dislocate a shoulder. They weigh that much. Tyler's a banquet waiter, waiting tables at a hotel downtown, and Tyler's a projectionist with the Projector Operators Union. I don't know how long Tyler had been working on all those nights I couldn't sleep. The old theaters that run a movie with 2 projectors, a projectionist has to stand right there to change projectors at the exact second so the audience never sees the break when one reel starts and one reel ran out. You have to look for the white dots in the top right-hand corner of the screen. This is the warning. Watch the movie and you'll see 2 dots at the end of a reel. Cigarette burns, they're called in the business. The first white dot, this is the 2-minute warning. You get the second projector started so it will be running up to speed. The second white dot is the 5-second warning. Excitement. You're standing between the 2 projectors and the booth is sweating hot from the xenon bulbs that if you looked right at them, you're blind. The first dot flashes on the screen. The sound in a movie comes from a big speaker behind the screen. The projectionist booth is soundproof because inside the booth is the racket of sprockets snapping film past the lens at 6 feet a second, 10 frames a foot, 60 frames a second snapping through, clattering Gatling gun fire. The 2 projectors running, you stand between and hold the shutter lever on each. On really old projectors, you have an alarm on the hub of the feed reel. Even after the movie's on television, the warning dots will still be there, even on airplane movies. As most of the movie rolls onto the take-up reel turns slower and the feed reel has to turn faster. At the end of a reel, the feed reel turns so fast the alarm will start ringing to warn you that a changeover is coming up. The dark is hot from the bulbs inside the projectors, and the alarm is ringing. Stand there between the 2 projectors with a lever in each hand and watch the corner of the screen. The second dot flashes. Count to 5, switch one shutter closed, at the same time open the other shutter. Changeover. The movie goes on. Nobody in the audience has any idea. The alarm is on the feed reel so the movie projectionist can nap. A movie projectionist does a lot he's not supposed to. Not every projector has the alarm. At home, you'll sometimes wake up in your dark bed with a terror you've fallen asleep in the booth and missed a changeover. The audience will be cursing you. The audience, their movie dream is ruined, and the manager will be calling the union. You wake up at Crissy Field. The charm of traveling is everywhere I go. Tiny life. I go to the hotel, tiny soap, tiny shampoos, single serving butter, tiny mouthwash, and a single-use toothbrush. Fold into the standard airplane seat. You're a giant. The problem is your shoulders are too big. Your Alice in Wonderland legs are all of a sudden miles so long they touch the feet of the person in front. Dinner arrives, a miniature do-it-yourself chicken cordon bleu hobby kit. Sort of a put-it-together project to keep you busy. The pilot has turned on the seatbelt sign, and we would ask you to refrain from moving about the cabin. You wake up at Meigs Field. Sometimes Tyler wakes up in the dark, buzzing with the terror that he's missed a reel change, or the movie has broken, or the movie has slipped just enough in the projector that the sprockets are punching a line of holes through the soundtrack. After a movie has been sprocket run, the light of the bulb shines through the soundtrack, and instead of talk, you're blasted with a helicopter blade sound of whop, whop, whop as each burst of light comes through a sprocket hole. What else a projectionist shouldn't do? Tyler makes slides out of the best single frames from a movie. The first full frontal movie anyone can remember had the naked actress Angie Dickinson. By the time a print of this movie had shipped from the West Coast theaters to the East Coast theaters, the nude scene was gone. One projectionist took a frame, another projectionist took a frame. Everybody wanted to make a naked slide of Angie Dickinson. Porno got into the theaters, and these projectionists, some guys, they built collections that got epic. You wake up at Boeing Field. You wake up at LAX. We have an almost empty flight tonight, so feel free to hold the armrests up into the seat backs and stretch out. You stretch out, zigzag, knees bent, waist bent, elbows bent across 3 or 4 seats. I set my watch 2 hours earlier or 3 hours later, Pacific, Mountain, Central, or Eastern time. Lose an hour, gain an hour. This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time. You wake up at Cleveland Hopkins. You wake up at SeaTac. Again.
Bez
You're
szczerze,
a
ja myślałem,
projectionist and you're tired and angry.
ja wam powiem, ja myślałem, że ta książka będzie czymś dużo mroczniejszym. Słuchajcie, ja myślałem, że ta książka będzie czymś dużo bardziej mroczniejszym niż myślałem, że będzie. Czytaliśmy niedawno Jądro Ciemności, co było paliwem do koszmaru, a ta książka ma po prostu jakieś, jeżeli miałbym ją oceniać od D do S, to byłoby D. Czyli w ogóle nie jest mroczna, ma swoje mroczne tematy, ale ja bym ją bardziej kategoryzował, wiecie, ja bym kategoryzował Fight Club w taki sam sposób, gdzie kategoryzujemy, to jest praktycznie tylko wstęp, jeżeli chodzi do najmocniejszych momentów, bo mówiąc szczerze, Fight Club, jego książka jest naprawdę zabawna, więc szczerze. Ja bym ją bardziej kategoryzował, wiecie, jako taki wstęp do kręgów piekielnych, dokładnie, takich mrocznych tematów, bo omawialiśmy Jądro Ciemności, które było dużo gorsze i omawialiśmy to tam jeszcze o wojnie wietnamskiej, które były dużo gorsze, a to akurat nie jest złe. Dajcie mi chwilę. Ja bym kategoryzował w kategorii D, a wiecie, czekajcie, kurwa, dobra. Kategoryzował w kategorii D, czyli entry level, dokładnie. Czyli to jest taki wstęp do kręgów piekielnych, dokładnie. I ja bym kategoryzował Fight Club w tej samej kategorii od D do S, czyli D, zaraz obok Władców Much, American Psycho i Władzy Niccolo Machiavellego. To jest właściwie w takiej kategorii kategoryzuje jak bardzo mroczny jest jak bardzo mroczny jest Fight Club. Fight Club to jest D, bo Jądro Ciemności to jest A, kurda, to jest paliwo do koszmaru. To jest paliwo do... Jądro Ciemności było paliwem do koszmaru zaraz obok 1984, Drogi Cormaca i Archipelażu z Gułagu. Dokładnie. To jest jak mroczny był Jądro Ciemności. Tu mamy kategorię D, czyli po prostu wstęp do kręgów piekielnych zaraz obok American Psycho właśnie, Władców Much i Władzy Machiavellego. To jest dokładnie tak trzeba kategoryzować Fight Club.
But mostly you're bored, so you start by taking a single frame of pornography collected by some other projectionist that you find stashed away in the booth, and you splice this frame of a lunging red penis or a yawning wet vagina close up into another feature movie. This is one of those pet adventures, when the dog and cat are left behind by a traveling family and must find their way home. In Reel 3, just after the dog and cat, who have human voices and talk to each other, have eaten out of a garbage can, there's the flash of an erection. Tyler does this. A single frame in the movie is on the screen for 1/60th of a second. Divide a second into 60 equal parts. That's how long the erection is. Towering 4 stories tall over the popcorn auditorium, slippery red and terrible, and no one sees it. You wake up at Logan. Again. This is a terrible way to travel. I go to meetings my boss doesn't want to attend. I take notes. I'll get back to you. Wherever I'm going, I'll be there to apply the formula. I'll keep the secret intact. It's simple arithmetic. It's a story problem. If a new car built by my company leaves Chicago traveling west at 60 miles per hour, and the rear differential locks up, and the car crashes and burns with everyone trapped inside, does my company initiate a recall? You take the population of vehicles in the field, A, and multiply it by the probable rate of failure, B, then multiply the result by the average cost of an out-of-court settlement, C. A times B times C equals X. This is what it will cost if we don't initiate a recall. If X is greater than the cost of a recall, we recall the cars and no one gets hurt. If X is less than the cost of a recall, then we don't recall. Everywhere I go, there's the burned up, wadded up shell of a car waiting for me. I know where all the skeletons are. Consider this my job security. Hotel time, restaurant food. Everywhere I go, I make tiny friendships with the people sitting beside me from Logan to Chrissy to Willow Run. What I am is a recall campaign coordinator, I tell this single-serving friend sitting next to me, but I'm working toward a career as a dishwasher. You wake up at O'Hare. Again. Tyler spliced a penis into everything after that. Usually close-ups or a Grand Canyon vagina with an echo. 4 stories tall and twitching with blood pressure as Cinderella danced with her Prince Charming and people watched. Nobody complained.
Prince Charming,
People
czyli
ate and drank,
książę z Shreka.
but the evening wasn't the same. People feel sick or start to cry and don't know why. Only a hummingbird could have caught Tyler at work. You wake up at JFK. I melt and swell at the moment of landing when one wheel thuds on the runway, but the plane leans to one side and hangs in the decision to right itself or roll. For this moment, nothing matters. Look up into the stars and you're gone. Not your luggage, nothing matters. Not your bad breath. The windows are dark outside and the turbine engines roar backward. The cabin hangs at the wrong angle under the roar of the turbines, and you will never have to file another expense account claim. Receipt required for items over $25. You will never have to get another haircut.
Przerwa. Tyler Durden jest chyba, muszę wam powiedzieć, jest jedną filozoficznie najlepiej napisanych postaci, jaka może być, słuchajcie. To jest normalnie coś takiego, że normalnie ten nie dość, że w ogóle jego filozofia jest taka, a nie jaka. To znaczy taka. W taki sposób, że... Dajcie chwilę.
A thud, and the second wheel hits the tarmac. The staccato of 100 seatbelt buckles snapping open, and the single-use friend you almost died sitting next to says, I hope you make your connection. Yeah, me too. And this is how long your moment lasted. And life goes on. And somehow, by accident, Tyler and I met. It was time for vacation. You wake up at LAX. Again. How I met Tyler was I went to a nude beach. This was the very end of summer, and I was asleep. Tyler was naked and sweating, gritty with sand, his hair wet and stringy hanging in his face. Tyler had been around a long time before we met. Tyler was pulling driftwood logs out of the surf and dragging them up the beach. In the wet sand, he'd already planted a half circle of logs so they stood a few inches apart and as tall as his eyes. There were 4 logs, and when I woke up, I watched Tyler pull a 5th log up the beach. Tyler dug a hole under one end of the log, then lifted the other end until the log slid into the hole and stood there at a slight angle. You wake up at the beach. We were the only people on the beach. With a stick, Tyler drew a straight line in the sand several feet away. Tyler went back to straighten the log by stamping around its base. I was the only person watching this. Tyler called over, Do you know what time it is? I always wear a watch. Do you know what time it is? Asked, Right here, Tyler said. Right now. It was 4:06 p.m. After a while, Tyler sat cross-legged in the shadow of the standing logs. Tyler sat for a few minutes, got up and took a swim, pulled on a t-shirt and a pair of sweatpants and started to leave. I had to ask. I had to know what Tyler was doing while I was asleep. If I could wake up in a different place at a different time, could I wake up as a different person? I asked if Tyler was an artist. Tyler shrugged and showed me how the 5 standing logs were wider at the base. Tyler showed me the line he'd drawn in the sand and how he'd used the line to gauge the shadow cast by each log. Sometimes you wake up and have to ask where you are. What Tyler had created was the shadow of a giant hand. Only now the fingers were Nosferatu long and the thumb was too short. But he said how at exactly 4:30 the hand was perfect. The giant shadow hand was perfect for 1 minute, and for 1 perfect minute, Tyler had sat in the palm of a perfection he'd created himself. You wake up, and you're nowhere. 1 minute was enough, Tyler said. A person had to work hard for it, but a minute of perfection was worth the effort. A moment was the most you could ever expect from perfection. You wake up, and that's enough. His name was Tyler Durden, and he was a movie projectionist with the union, and he was a banquet waiter at a hotel downtown, and he gave me his phone number. And this is how we met.
To jest... No, działa.
All the usual brain
Here's a
parasites are here
number.
tonight. Above and Beyond always gets a big turnout. This is Peter. This is Aldo. This is Marcy. Hi. The introductions. Everybody, this is Marla Singer, and this is her first time with us. Hi, Marla. At Above and Beyond, we start with the catch-up rap. The group isn't called Parasitic Brain Parasites. You'll never hear anyone say parasite. Everybody is always getting better. Oh, this new medication. Everyone's always just turned the corner. Still, everywhere there's the squint of a 5-day headache. A woman wipes at involuntary tears. Everyone gets a name tag, and people you've met every Tuesday night for a year, they come at you, handshake hand ready, and their eyes on your name tag. I don't believe we've met. No one will ever say parasite. They'll say agent. They don't say cure. They'll say treatment. In catch-up rap, someone will say how the agent has spread into his spinal column, and now all of a sudden he'll have no control of his left hand. The agent, someone will say, has dried the lining of his brain, so now the brain pulls away from the inside of his skull, causing seizures. The last time I was here, the woman named Chloe announced the only good news she had. Chloe pushed herself to her feet against the wooden arms of her chair and said she no longer had any fear of death. Tonight, after the introductions and catch-up rap, a girl I don't know with a name tag that says Glenda says she's Chloe's sister and that at 2 a.m. last Tuesday, Chloe finally died. Oh, this should be so sweet. For 2 years, Chloe's been crying in my arms during hug time, and now she's dead. Dead in the ground, dead in an urn, mausoleum, columbarium. Oh, the proof that one day you're thinking and hauling yourself around, and the next you're cold fertilizer, worm buffet. This is the amazing miracle of death, and it should be so sweet if it weren't for, that one, Marla. Oh, and Marla's looking at me again, singled out among all the brain parasites.
O,
Liar. Faker. Marla's the faker. You're the faker.
Fęka.
Everyone around, when they wince or twitch and fall down barking and the crotch of their jeans turns dark blue, well, it's all just a big act. Guided meditation all of a sudden won't take me anywhere tonight. Behind each of the 7 palace doors, the green door, the orange door, Marla. The blue door, Marla stands there. Liar. In the guided meditation through the cave of my power animal is Marla. Smoking her cigarette, Marla. Rolling her eyes, liar. Black hair and pillowy French lips, faker. Italian dark leather sofa lips. You can't escape. Chloe was the genuine article. Chloe was the way Joni Mitchell's skeleton would look if you made it smile and walk around a party being extra special nice to everyone. Picture Chloe's popular skeleton the size of an insect, running through the vaults and galleries of her innards at 2 a.m. Her pulse a siren overhead, announcing, "Prepare for death in 10, in 9, in 8 seconds. Death will commence in 7, 6. At night, Chloe ran around the maze of her own collapsing veins and burst tubes spraying hot lymph. Nerves surface as tripwires in the tissue. Abscesses swell in the tissue around her as hot white pearls. The overhead announcement, "Prepare to evacuate bowels in 10, in 9,
No, książka jest zbyt
8,
dobra, kurwa.
7. Prepare to evacuate soul in 10, in 9, 8. Chloe splashing through the ankle-deep backup of renal fluid from her failed kidneys. Death will commence in 5, 5, 4, 4. Around her parasitic life spray paints her heart. 4, 3,
Ale zajebiste.
3, 2. Chloe climbs hand over hand up the curdled lining of her own throat. Death to commence in 3, in 2. Moonlight shines in through the open mouth. Prepare for the last breath. Now. Evacuate. Now. Soul clear of body. Now. Death commences. Now. Ah, this should be so sweet. The remembered warm jumble of Chloe still in my arms and Chloe dead somewhere. But no, I'm watched by Marla. In guided meditation, I open my arms to receive my inner child, and the child is Marla smoking her cigarette. No white healing ball of light. Liar. No chakras. Picture your chakras opening as flowers, and at the center of each is a slow-motion explosion of sweet light. Liar. My chakras stay closed. When meditation ends, everyone is stretching and twisting their heads and pulling each other to their feet in preparation. Therapeutic physical contact. For the hug. I cross in 3 steps to stand against Marla, who looks up into my face as I watch everyone else for the cue. Let's all, the cue comes, embrace someone near us. My arms clamp around Marla. Pick someone special to you tonight. Marla's cigarette hands are pinned to her waist. Tell this someone how you feel. Marla doesn't have testicular cancer. Marla doesn't have tuberculosis. She isn't dying. Okay, in that brainy brain food philosophy way, we're all dying, but Marla isn't dying the way Chloe was dying. The cue comes. Share yourself. So, Marla, how do you like them apples? Share yourself completely. So, Marla, get out, get out, get out. Go ahead and cry if you have to. Marla stares up at me. Her eyes are brown. Her earlobes pucker around earring holes, no earrings. Her chapped lips are frosted with dead skin. Go ahead and cry. You're not dying either, Marla says. Around us, couples stand sobbing, propped against each other. You tell on me, Marla says, and I'll tell on you. Then we can split the week, I say. Marla can have bone disease, brain parasites, and tuberculosis. I'll keep testicular cancer, blood parasites, and organic brain dementia. Marla says, what about ascending bowel cancers? The girl has done her homework. We'll split bowel cancer. She gets it the first and third Sunday of every month. No, Marla says. No. She wants it all. The cancers, the parasites. Marla's eyes narrow. She never dreamed she could feel so marvelous. She actually felt alive. Her skin was clearing up. All her life, she never saw a dead person. There was no real sense of life because she had nothing to contrast it with. Oh, but now there was dying and death and loss and grief, weeping and shuddering, terror and remorse. Now that she knows we're all going, Marla feels every moment of her life. No, she wasn't leaving any group. Not can go back to the way life felt before, Marla says. I used to work in a funeral home to feel good about myself. Just the fact I was breathing. So what if I couldn't get a job in my field? Then go back to
Dobra,
your funeral home, I say.
trzymaj się,
Funerals are...
drzewa. Słuchajcie, stop. To jest bardzo... Wow. Ja... Ile flashbacków. To jest, to jest jeszcze więcej przejść niż w filmie. Co jest niesamowite w ogóle osiągnięciem. I my musieli w ogóle wycinać tego wszystkiego w ogóle. To jest tak niewyobrażalna tragedia, jaką można sobie w ogóle wyobrazić. Po prostu to jest dramat. Czekajcie. Dzisiaj będziemy... Nie, następnym razem jak skończymy Fight Club, to będziemy sobie omawiać album. Będziemy sobie omawiać w ogóle album Taylor Swift o tytule The Torture Poets Department. Dokładnie tak to będziemy robić. W ogóle ten album zawierał głównie wszystko, dokładnie, czyli czy to synth popu, chamber popu, czy folk popu. I dokładnie to będziemy sobie ten album omawiać. Dokładnie, więc let's go.
Nothing compared to this, Marla says. Funerals are all abstract ceremony. Here you have a real experience of death. Couples around the two of us are drying their tears, sniffing,
W ogóle dialogi
patting each other on the back and
zajebiste
letting
w ogóle,
go.
10 na 10.
We can't both come, I tell her. Then don't come. I need this. Then go to funerals. Everyone else is broken apart and they're joining hands for the closing prayer. I let Marla go. How long have you been coming here? The closing prayer. 2 years. A man in the prayer circle takes my hand. A man takes Marla's hand. These prayers start, and usually my breathing is blown. Oh, bless us. Oh, bless us in our anger and our fear. 2 years? Marla tilts her head to whisper. Oh, bless us and hold us. Anyone who might have noticed me in 2 years has either died or recovered and never come back. Help us and help us. Okay, Marla says. Okay. You can have testicular cancer. Big Bob, the big cheese bread, crying all over me. Thanks. Bring us to our destiny. Bring us peace. Don't mention it. This is how I met Marla. The security task force guy explained everything to me. Baggage handlers could ignore a ticking suitcase. The security task force guy, he called baggage handlers throwers. Modern bombs don't tick, but a suitcase that vibrates, the baggage handlers, the throwers, have to call the police. How I came to live with Tyler is because most airlines have this policy about vibrating baggage. My flight back from Dulles, I had everything in that one bag. When you travel a lot, you learn to pack the same for every trip. 6 white shirts, 2 black trousers, the bare minimum you need to survive. Traveling alarm clock, cordless electric razor, toothbrush, 6 pair underwear, 6 pair black socks. It turns out my suitcase was vibrating on departure from Dulles, according to the security task force guy, so the police took it off the flight. Everything was in that bag. My contact lens stuff, 1 red tie with blue stripes, 1 blue tie with red stripes. These are regimental stripes, not club tie stripes. And 1 solid red tie. A list of all these things used to hang on the inside of my bedroom door at home. Home was a condominium on the 15th floor of a high-rise, a sort of filing cabinet for widows and young professionals. The marketing brochure promised a foot of concrete floor, ceiling, and wall between me and any adjacent stereo or turned-up television. A foot of concrete and air conditioning? You couldn't open the windows, so even with maple flooring and dimmer switches, all 1,700 air of a dildo.
Dobra.
Use the indefinite article. A dildo, never your dildo. Never ever say the dildo accidentally turned itself on. A dildo activated itself and created an emergency situation that required evacuating your baggage. Rain was falling when I woke up for my connection in Stapleton. Rain was falling when I woke up on our final approach to home. An announcement told us to please take this opportunity to check around our seats for any personal belongings we might have left behind. Then the announcement said my name. Would I please meet with an airline representative waiting at the gate?
Dobra, ile jeszcze tego mamy?
I set my watch back 3 hours, and it was still after
11
midnight.
minut.
There was the airline representative at the gate, and there was the security task force guy to say, your electric razor kept your checked baggage at Dulles. The task force guy called the baggage handlers throwers. Then he called them rampers.
10 minut
To
kończymy
prove
streama.
things could be worse, the guy told me at least it wasn't a dildo. Then, maybe because I'm a guy and he's a
Hello,
guy and
słuchajcie,
it's 1
wszyscy,
o'clock
którzy
in the
tutaj
morning,
są.
maybe to make me laugh, the
Witam
guy
was
said
wszystkich.
industry slang for flight
Mam sobie
attendant
Fight
was
Clubu.
space waitress or air
I
mattress.
słuchajcie, muszę wam powiedzieć przede wszystkim,
It looked like the guy was wearing a pilot's
bardzo
uniform,
satyryczna książka
white shirt with little
o tym, jak
epaulets
się
and
żyło
a
w
blue
latach
tie.
90.
My luggage had been
Jest
cleared, he
już
said,
dużo,
and would
widziałem
arrive the
dużo
next day.
różnic, że jest
The
dużo
security guy
różnic,
asked
o
my
ile
name and
w
address
filmie
and phone
było to
number, and then he
zrobione
asked me
przez
what was the
pierwszej osoby,
difference
tak jak
between a
książka,
condom and a cockpit.
to
You can only get one
jest
prick
w
into a
książce jest dużo
condom,
więcej
he
rozwinięć,
said.
oczywiście, bo ta książka jest
I cabbed home on my last
modernistyczna,
10
ale
bucks.
no,
The
to
local
jest
police had
jeszcze
been
więcej
asking a
takich
lot of
mniejszych
questions
elementów
too.
właśnie.
My electric razor, which
Oczywiście,
wasn't a
ja
bomb,
American
was still
Psycho,
3 time
w
zones
sensie, że po
behind
prostu
me.
to jest krąg
Something
piekielny.
which was a bomb, a
Wstęp do
big
tego.
bomb, had blasted my clever Nijurunda coffee tables in the shape of a lime green yin and an orange yang that fit together to make a circle. Well, they were splinters now. My Haparanda sofa group with the orange slipcovers, designed by Erika Picari, it was trash now. And I wasn't the only slave to my nesting instinct. The people I know who used to sit in the bathroom with pornography, now they sit in the bathroom with their IKEA furniture catalog. We all have the same Johannishaw armchair in the strin green stripe pattern. Mine fell 15 stories, burning into a fountain. We all have the same Rizlampahar paper lamps made from wire and environmentally friendly unbleached paper.
Normalnie za
Mine are confetti. All that sitting in the bathroom. The all cutlery service, stainless steel, dishwasher safe. The Vild hall clock made of galvanized steel. Oh, I had to have that. The Klipsk shelving unit. Oh, yeah. Hemlig hat boxes. Yes! The street outside my high-rise was sparkling and scattered with all this. The Mamala quilt cover set, designed by Thomas Harilla and available in the following: orchid, fuchsia, cobalt, ebony, jet, eggshell, or heather. Took my whole life to buy this stuff.
Nie,
The easy care textured lacquer of my Calyx occasional tables. My steg nesting tables. You buy furniture. You tell yourself, this is the last sofa I will ever need in my life. Buy the sofa, then for a couple years you're satisfied that no matter what goes wrong, at least you've got your sofa issue handled.
Słuchajcie,
Then
zasada
the
na
right
dziś.
set of dishes.
Fight Club.
Then the perfect bed,
Ci, co lubią,
the drapes,
pierwsza zasada.
the rug.
Ci, co lubią,
Then you're trapped in your lovely nest,
to jest
and the things you
jak,
used to
jak
own,
losu.
now they
Druga
own you.
zasada Fight Clubu.
Until I got home
Ci,
from the
co
airport.
lubią pić
The
piweczkę.
doorman steps out of the
Tylko to
shadows
jest
to say there's been an
jak
accident.
rosół. Jak
police,
rosół.
They were here and
rosół.
asked a lot of questions.
Taka zasada.
The police think maybe it was the gas. Maybe the pilot light on the stove went out, or a burner was left on, leaking gas, and the gas rose to the ceiling, and the gas filled the condo from ceiling to floor in every room. The condo was 1,700 square feet with high ceilings. And for days and days, the gas must have leaked until every room was full.
W ogóle
When the rooms were filled to the floor, the compressor at the base of the refrigerator clicked on. Detonation. The floor-to-ceiling windows and their aluminum frames went out, and the sofas and the lamps and dishes and sheet sets in flames, and the high school annuals and the diplomas and telephone, everything blasting out from the 15th floor in a sort of solar flare. Oh, not my refrigerator. I'd collected shelves full of different mustards, some stone ground, some English pub style. There were 14 different flavors of fat-free salad dressing and 7 kinds of capers. I know. A house full of condiments and no real food. The doorman blew his nose and something went into his handkerchief with a good slap of a pitch into a catcher's mitt. You go up to the 15th floor, the doorman said, but nobody could go into the unit. Police orders. The police had been asking, did I have an old girlfriend who'd want to do this, or did I make an enemy of somebody who had access to dynamite? It wasn't worth going up, the doorman said. All that's left is the concrete shell. The police hadn't ruled out arson. No one had smelled gas. The doorman raises an eyebrow. This guy spent his time flirting with the day maids and nurses who worked in the big units on the top floors and waited in the lobby chairs for their rides after work. 3 years I lived here, and the doorman still sat reading his Ellery Queen magazine every night while I shifted packages and bags to unlock the front door and let myself in. The doorman raises an eyebrow and says how some people will go on a long trip and leave a candle, a long candle burning in a big puddle of gasoline. People with financial difficulties do this stuff. People who want out from under. I asked to use the lobby phone. A lot of young people try to impress the world and buy too many things, the doorman said. I called Tyler. The phone rang in Tyler's rented house on Paper Street. Oh, Tyler, please deliver me. And the phone rang. The doorman leaned into my shoulder and said, a lot of young people don't know what they really want. Oh, Tyler, please rescue me. And the phone rang. Young people, they think they want the whole world. Deliver me from Swedish furniture. Deliver me from clever art. And the phone rang, and Tyler answered. If you don't know what you want, the doorman said, you end up with a lot you don't. May I never be complete. May I never be content. May I never be perfect. Deliver me, Tyler, from being perfect and complete. Tyler and I agreed to meet at a bar. The doorman asked for a number where the police could reach me. It was still raining. My Audi was still parked in the lot, but a Da Capo halogen Torchier was speared through the windshield. Tyler and I, we met and drank a lot of beer, and Tyler said yes, I could move in with him, but I would have to do him a favor. The next day, my suitcase would arrive with the bare minimum, 6 shirts, 6 pair of underwear. There, drunk in a bar where no one was watching and no one would care, I asked Tyler what he wanted me to do. Tyler said, I want you to hit me as hard as you can. 2 screens into my demo to Microsoft, I taste blood and have to start swallowing.
O.
My boss doesn't know the material, but he won't let me run the demo with a black eye and half my face swollen from the stitches inside my cheek. The stitches have come loose and I can feel them with my tongue against the inside of my cheek. Picture snarled fishing line on the beach. I can picture them as the black stitches on a dog after it's been fixed, and I keep swallowing blood. My boss is making the presentation from my script, and I'm running the laptop projector, so I'm off to one side of the room, in the dark. More of my lips are sticky with blood as I try to lick the blood off, and when the lights come up, I will turn to consultants Ellen and Walter and Norbert and Linda from Microsoft and say, thank you for coming, my mouth shining with blood and blood climbing the cracks between my teeth. You can swallow about a pint of blood before you're sick. Fight Club is tomorrow, and I'm not going to miss Fight Club. Before the presentation, Walter from Microsoft smiles, his steam shovel jaw like a marketing tool tanned the color of a barbecued potato chip. Walter, with his signet ring, shakes my hand, wrapped in his smooth, soft hand, and says, I'd hate to see what happened to the other guy. The first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. I tell Walter I fell. I did this to myself. Before the presentation, when I sat across from my boss, telling him where in the script each slide cues, and when I wanted to run the video segment, my boss says, what do you get yourself into every weekend? I just don't want to die without a few scars, I say. It's nothing anymore to have a beautiful stock body. You see those cars that are completely stock cherry right out of a dealer's showroom in 1955? I always think, what a waste. The second rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. Maybe at lunch the waiter comes to your table and the waiter has the two black eyes of a giant panda from Fight Club last weekend when you saw him get his head pinched between the concrete floor and the knee of a 200-pound stock boy who kept slamming a fist into the bridge of the waiter's nose again and again in flat, hard, packing sounds you could hear over all the yelling until the waiter caught enough breath and sprayed blood to say, "Stop!" You don't say anything, because Fight Club exists only in the hours between when Fight Club starts and when Fight Club ends. You saw the kid who works in the copy center. A month ago, you saw this kid who can't remember to three-hole punch an order or put colored slip sheets between the copy packets. But this kid was a god for 10 minutes when you saw him kick the air out of an account representative twice his size, then land on the men and pound him limp until the kid had to stop. That's the third rule in Fight Club. When someone says stop or goes limp, even if he's just faking it, the fight is over. Every time you see this kid, you can't tell him what a great fight he had. Only two guys to a fight, one fight at a time. They fight without shirts or shoes. The fights go on as long as they have to. Those are the other rules of Fight Club. Who guys are in Fight Club is not who they are in the real world. Even if you told the kid in the copy center that he had a good fight, you wouldn't be talking to the same man.
Dobra,
Who I am in Fight
Yes.
Club is not someone my boss knows.
dobra, słuchajcie. Ogółem do następnego streama, bo jeszcze trochę nam zostało, ale zrobimy to już następnym razem, dobra? Dlatego trzymajcie się do następnego i ciąg dalszy nastąpi oczywiście jutro. Dokładnie, więc trzymajcie się i cześć.